What's up, YouTube? And Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Prestige Reef Dork Show. My name is Alex, aka Reef Dork, and with me, as always, is Ryan from the UK's #1 coral selling website, prestigereef.co.uk. Ryan, hello.
Hello. How are you? I'll ask you today how you are. Normally, you ask me first.
I'm glad you've done that, actually. I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good. It is freezing cold at the moment in the UK. Because January, that's what happens. And
it's been weirdly warm all last month, hasn't it?
Yeah, December was semi-warm, but it's been like 2 degrees, 3 degrees today, and just a bit miserable. Although it was nice and sunny today, just sunny and cold. Bit of weather chat to start with, because we're British and we bloody love that. So, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a busy week for me. In terms of obviously I'm back to shipping now. Yeah. So that's what I said to you just before the live stream started. Obviously, I had like a huge backlog of orders that all went out on the same day.
Yeah.
They all went out on Thursday because this week, and then obviously were delivered on Friday. And I am out of practice.
Huh?
So it's surprisingly either I've got very unfit since in the last month, or it's more physically strenuous, running backwards and forwards, getting up and down that to get the corals that I remember.
Oh wow, okay. So it was just were you out of practice in, like, because you must have a routine of collect this, bag it, twist apart, and what, you know.
Oh, you would think so, but I basically just do it randomly, and most of the time it starts with me reading my phone, and then it tells me that there's 10 corals, and I'll look at the first 3, and then I've forgotten anything after those first 3. So I pack literally 3 at a time.
How long have you been doing this?
It's true. I have terrible short-term memory. So I constantly have to check. So an order that has 15 things in or 10 things in, I have to check my phone 3 times to put them all in.
So every now and then I sell a few corals, and like, if I hate it when I sell to like 5 people at the same time and they order 3 or 4 each, because I check like 1,000 times. I'm like, does this person want? What's this person? What does he want? What's his address? And I'm just convinced I'm going to get it. I sold a Tunzi osmolator today on Ultimate Reef, and I boxed it up. Really neatly, well packaged, all that sort of stuff. I was like, fine, put the label on, done. And then I walked out of the room, and as I was walking out, I saw the magnets for the level sensors. So I needed to box them up. So I opened it back up again, boxed it up again, and I was like, great, that's done. And then 10 minutes later, I walked into the living room and I saw the plug for the Tunzi ATA. I was like, oh, for God's sake!
So basically, people, if you're listening, don't buy from Alex because you might get half of your stuff.
Yeah, the guys bought this. You're going to be lucky if you've got it, basically. So.
Yeah.
But I think I've got everything this time. But yeah, bad short-term memory. Well, apart from, sorry, go on.
No. Oh, so apart from that, I have done more fragging again. I've really got back into it. I don't know if you got back into your tank more now, or you like than before Christmas, or
I've picked up. I've picked up a bit. Yeah.
I have noticed that I'm definitely getting a lot more interest and a lot more like website views all of a sudden and things like that. I think people are buying slightly less at the moment because obviously of Christmas. It's still
January.
They've not been paid yet, so they're feeling the pain from that. But it's still been. I think I had a look. It's still up on last year. So although it's less than normal, it's did better than the previous year.
Okay.
So. Why are you smiling?
Because you're saying it's up on last year, but it's less than normal. Well,
so I look at things. I look at a month on a month-to-month basis. Okay. I want every month to be as good as every other month.
Right. Okay.
There's no excuse. Basically, if I'm making less on a specific month, I don't go, oh, that's because of like the weather or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
I go, well, I need to, I don't know, put out a mystery box to push up the amount I'm earning. Because you can always sell coral as long as you sell it at the right price. Yeah. There's always someone that will buy it. So to some extent, it's I want to earn exactly the same amount every single month.
Okay.
Which, look, it's not impossible to do. It just takes more effort some months than others.
Fair enough. Okay. Have you ever done that for a year?
No, but
it's just bound to be dips and.
Yeah, of course, and you get some months where you go way above what you're expected to do. So if you let's say there's a set level, and I know in February or March, you might go above that level, but in July, you might be below it. And then on average, you earn roughly over the course of the year what you want.
So that's one thing that puts me off the idea of being self-employed, of ever doing something like a coral farm or a shop or whatever, because it's like you're hand to mouth, and I hate the idea that I'd have to plan. And like if you have a brilliant month, then everything's great, and then if the next month you have a bad month, you're like phoning your mortgage company going, do you still want payment this month? Because, just write it off, you know.
It is like that, but that's the same with any business where you're like self-employed. So
exactly.
There's definitely perks on either way. Obviously, you have the.
Of course.
And again, there's no reassurance. Obviously, your job's slightly different, but for someone who's employed, there's no guarantee that that person's going to have a job at the end of the month anyway. So is it more of a risk? You just don't know that you're not going to have a job.
But my employer will pay me the same every month, regardless of how much or how little work. If I have the best month ever and I smash my target by 5 times, I'll get paid the same amount. And if I do no work at all the next month and don't hit my target, I still get paid the same amount. If I don't hit my target several months in a row, I'll be having conversations, and I might not be getting paid the same amount. But
whereas I know that if I let's say this, if I put a discount code out today, usually that causes a huge influx of sales. So I will make less money per coral, but overall I'll make more money. So if I wanted to, I don't know, buy an iPhone, for example, and that's what I could do to generate more income. So it does have some benefits to do it.
Okay. Do you want to talk about a video you're working on?
Well, I'm not working on it yet.
No, I know, but
you talking about what I just got.
I'm trying to say, do you want to talk about this without telling you, in case you say no?
There's no problem with talking about it. So basically, an aquarium company contacted me, or a company that's in the aquatics industry contacted me, and they have asked if I would like to test out one of their testers. Obviously, it's given to me. I have no opinion on it. I can't tell you if it's great or it's rubbish because I've only just opened the box. But it is Reef Kinetic, and they have sent me one of their Reef Bot Labs, I think is what it says in the box. Yeah, Reef Bot Labs. Yes, there you go. So
is it the Reef Bot Lab? There was a Pro, wasn't there? Or am I making that up?
No, so I think there was an original one, and then they have upgraded it to the newer version. So the original one was sort of like a rectangle.
Yes.
And this one is now like a hexagon. It's quite impressive, like in terms of I don't want to give an opinion, but from the outside of looking at it without having even plugged it in, it looks impressive from the top with all like the tubes and needles and things like that. So I am looking forward to testing it. However, no, I'm not going to say testing it because I'm not someone who tests stuff. I'm looking forward to plugging it in. However, you know that I am not a particularly tech person, so the hesitation for me. So I haven't plugged it in yet because I need to be mentally prepared. Now it might be easy to set up, and it might not be easy to set up, but I don't know yet.
It won't be easy to set up. It's there's some things. Even I set up a Red Sea Auto top off the other day.
Yeah,
and it's one of those pieces of equipment. It's really, really good bit of kit, but you have to read the instruction manual.
Yeah,
and it took me about an hour and a half to get it set up. Whereas like a Tunzi ATO, it's up and running in 10 minutes. You know, that's an exaggeration, but that looks like the sort of thing that. Oh, actually, one thing you said it's a hexagon.
Yes.
As far as I can see, it's got 7 sides.
5, 6. It has got 7 sides, yeah.
So it's not a hexagon.
Oh.
Anyway.
What is it then?
Heptagon.
Is that what it is? I'm impressed that you knew that.
I had to Google it.
I say, calls me out. Didn't know what it was. Had to Google it.
Well, I knew what a hexagon was, but I didn't know what. Anyway, I digress.
Yes.
But yeah, so you've got it. Yeah, they'll take ages to set up, but once you've got it up and running.
Having said that, I did have a very quick look at something that someone did a review on it, and they said it was easy to set up. I said I'm mentally preparing myself to do this. Now, having looked at it, all the vials are in, all the turning, all the mechanism and everything is in. Literally, the only thing you get given, there probably will be some calibration or something. I'm guessing, The only thing extra to the machine you get given is a load of little vials that you put in the reagents and some syringes. So from the outside, without looking at the instructions, it literally looks like you just put the syringe in and you attach the vials. But I don't know.
So I'm not saying it won't be easy. It could be like the Refactory Smart Tester. That was easy to set up, but it still took a while. It was a pain in the ass. Well, it wasn't really a pain. The KH Keeper was more of a pain in the ass because you've got to calibrate all sorts of other weird stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that you've got to set up. So the GHL KH Director was the same. Anything
I remember that. I've done that a few times.
Although actually the software was worse to be honest. But anything that those alkalinity devices are all a faff to set up. But once you've got them set up, happy days.
But this isn't the same as those devices. So in theory, there shouldn't really be any calibration because I think
calibration. Yeah.
I think how it works is there's an app. Actually, no, there's dosing pumps I can see on top of it, so there must be some sort of calibration. Yeah. I'm just look, it's just wishful thinking. As I said, I might ask you to come help me set up.
No chance. I want to watch you struggle. What does it test? I'm going to test you. What does it test?
Don't know.
Would you like to know?
I reckon it tests calcium, alkalinity, magnesium, phosphate.
Yep.
Nitrate.
Yep.
I don't know what the other ones are.
And this is it won't do all of these at the same time.
No, because I'm not going to get it to do all of them.
But these are the possibilities. Nitrite. There are so many things that test nitrite. It's like, does anyone care about that? But anyway, whatever.
It's the same as like ammonia. Do you really need to know unless there's an absolute emergency?
Ammonia's on there as well.
Yeah.
I guess when you're setting up a tank, but I'd rather have a CChem ammonia alert disk. Anyway, copper, iodine, iron, pH. Oh, pH, interesting. Wonder how accurate that is when it's got to pass water through tubes. Anyway, potassium, silicon dioxide, silicate, oxygen, wow, carbon dioxide, bloody hell, chlorine, bromine, and general hardness. I mean,
so as I said, I don't know how many you can do at once. There's quite a few vials on there. But this shows you. I didn't realize I was going to be talking about this, which is why I haven't done any research into any of it. But I just, I very, very, very rarely say yes to products, and obviously that you know that they spoke to me a little while ago, didn't they? But it's one of my most time-consuming tasks is testing the water every week on a Monday. So I thought, I'm not going to have it plugged into a specific tank. So you can have it literally plumbed into your tank. Okay. I'm going to have it separate, and then you can put a little bottle of tank water, and then you can just set it to go, and it will test all the water on that system for you. And then the next day I can put a different bottle of water and get it test that.
Okay, interesting.
I thought I'd prefer to do that than actually have, because then it can test all the water.
Yeah.
So, and it works differently to other testers, because obviously it comes with it's like you literally buy the reagents from the shops. So you'll buy, because that's the reason it can test so many things. It's basically, I think this is how it works, that you put in whatever shop bought tests you want.
Yeah, Salifert, Red Sea, whatever.
And then the app says, I want to test calcium. I'm using Red Sea's like test kit, and then it's obviously already programmed to do that specifically.
Okay.
It will probably be more accurate than me testing it, because if you look at how consistent it is with a needle, I assume, than me just going, that will do.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing is that all the little mechanisms, as you spin the mechanism round, it rotates these little pellets to automatically.
The magnetic stirrers. Yeah.
You see how simple I am. I'm like, magnetic stirrer. This is exciting. So at first I was just moving it around to get all the little magnetic stirrers to move.
I would guess that you don't really care about things like silicates and chlorine and all that stuff, but I would guess that it will be able to do. It says 12. It said, I bet you'll be able to do alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, nitrate, and phosphate all without having to change reagents around. That would be my guess.
Hopefully, if it can do that, would be brilliant, because that's exactly
right. That's all you need.
Yeah. Does it say how many of them you can pick?
Why am I telling you about this?
Because you like sprung this on me, and I didn't know I was talking about it, and you've got it up on your screen.
It says I'd have to read it properly, to be honest. But there are a few devices like this. This has been out for a while. There's a couple up and coming. The Reef Manager from Kamoa, I think, and then the Mastertronic Essentials. The Mastertronic is one as well, but
Yeah.
the Mastertronic is massive. The Reef Bot's quite big, but the Mastertronic is like next level big.
Yeah.
So
I remember. Oh, sorry. I remember seeing the original one at MACNA 2018, and I still remember that feeling. It was just like, this is like unreal. If you can have a tank and you don't have to test it, that would be great.
yeah,
And they were one of the first sort of ones that were out. You know those spinning devices that you get in shops where you put and it spins it. I don't know how
API
accurate it is.
spin. Yeah.
That was also there as well.
Spin,
That was at Nuremberg actually, and I remember seeing that thinking, if this is accurate, which I'm not so sure how accurate it is.
I don't think that's supposed to be dead accurate, is it?
I mean, I'd like it to be.
Yeah, but a robot that tests everything. Happy days.
Yeah. So
if it's still accurate in 6 months.
As I said, I've always been skeptical of any. I've said it many times before. Any non-manual testing, but mostly for my own sake, because obviously with things that you have to calibrate and stuff like that, I am a little bit lazy with, and then and then things start to. It's interesting. I'd rather not calibrate something than I would actually just to do the test myself manually every week, which takes an hour.
That's the thing. I do get lazy with calibration on stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd like the idea of if I could calibrate, if I had a robot that I could calibrate every 6 months, say, and it would test all the main things.
Yeah,
I'd be all right with that.
Yeah. So, I don't know when I'll be putting a video out, but there's no like rush for me to get it out. So, if we know anything about Ryan, they would have sent the 60ml vials. I think they did send the 60ml vials.
So you have to change it less frequently.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. But I think that's standard, I think, now, the 60ml vials. Again, I'm just guessing. I have no idea.
I did watch some videos about this about 6 months ago, but I don't remember much about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so that's that. The only other thing, just to complete my week in reefing, is I've started siphoning the diatoms out of the water box tank, which I know you were skeptical if it makes a difference. It does seem to be less. I don't know why. There does seem to be less. And also, weirdly, the corals are actually much, much happier. They're growing. They're growing faster. And obviously, they're getting a constant like water change every day. They like now. I don't know where the silicates are coming from is basically. So I could be making the problem worse. I could make it better. But I've tried doing nothing, and that didn't work. So I now have to start doing something.
Have you done an ICP test?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask that. I have not done an ICP test. I have got one here. I could send it off, but you know what I'm like.
Okay. Because it feels a bit like you're pissing in the wind to me.
No. What do I get? What do I get ICP tested then? Do I get the water of the tank ICP tested? Do I get the water in the barrel ICP tested?
Can you afford a second ICP test?
Yes.
There's your answer. I would start with the tank water, but anyway, ICP test. This is the sort of scenario when ICP tests are potentially useful. You might send it off and it tells you sod all.
Yes, that's true.
Often it'll tell you something that's useful. But I don't think I said I was skeptical about siphoning out. I think it's worth a crack.
I think I didn't know if they had all just died and they can't disappear. So I didn't know if they were just died and just lying on top, and that's why they weren't going away. So, and there's nothing that sifts the sand in there or anything like that. So I thought I'd just go in there and start siphoning it and just to see. As I said, like when I spoke to you via text, my theory was like, obviously everything was covered in diatoms. If you remove all the diatoms, there is a load of real estate. And you know, like when, as I said to you, like when a tree falls in the woods, all of a sudden everything where that tree was starts to like rapidly grow. In theory, there is now a load of real estate for new diatoms to grow, and the thing that fuels diatoms is silicates. So if I can burn off the silicates quicker, I'll have my tank back. That's my theory.
I was about to ask if diatoms are photosynthetic, but I googled it instead, and they are.
Yeah, they are.
So wouldn't it make sense to back your lights off a bit?
I could look. I know what to do. If I
Sorry, I'm offering you advice when you're not asking for it.
No. I wouldn't say I know what to do. Like in a don't tell me what to do. When I say I know what to do, I mean I know what I should do, but I know I don't want to do it. Because what I should do is black out the tank for like 4 days. But because I've got coral in there, I have to take the coral out. And I'm just like, oh, the coral's growing and it's happy. So, and although there's not a lot, and it will probably take me, I know, an hour to take it all out and then an hour to put it all back, I'd rather just ignore it. I'd rather just ignore the problem and just wishfully think I'm doing what my clients do basically a lot of the time. So I need to pay you for a consultation so that I then listen to your advice and actually do it is what I need to do.
Okay, fair enough. We'll do that.
No. As I said, it's that tank is not. This is what I've realized is the problem. That tank is not a priority for me. It just isn't. And this is me being honest. It's the same as you. There are some tanks which, obviously, the tank in your living room, that's your priority, and there are other tanks you have which probably the cave behind you, I'd say, is probably your lowest of your priorities.
Yeah, probably.
And then if it's this exactly the same as with me, except my lowest priority is 1,000 liters. It's 1,000 liter tank.
Yeah.
So,
and even my lowest priority, that's still, although I'm not going to put as much effort into that as the main tank.
Yeah.
If that looks crap, it's on every video, so I've got to put in a certain amount of effort. I wouldn't just leave it, but
yeah. So
fair enough.
Well, we'll see. And shall I do my very, very last thing before you say?
Why not?
I've started taking pictures again, which you'll be happy about. So
I saw. Yeah. You've taken loads.
It's very rewarding when you do it. I know why I don't do it as often, which I said to you just before the stream starts. Basically, to get good pictures, you have to set the corals up in advance, and then you have to wait for them to all open up and not be annoyed and not have any slime on them, because every time you touch them, they obviously get slime on them. So I set them up and then I just basically forget. Or just get bored and go and do something else. So I never come back hours later to take the pictures. So what I have been doing is I've been setting them up the previous night, and then at like 11 in the morning, because the lights come on at it's like 10:30, I think, or something. So they've just had enough time to open up, take the pictures then, and then I can do the black backgrounds and put them on the website after that.
Yeah.
So yeah. It looks incrementally, it's getting better bit by bit.
That golden eye lobo looks really nice. That pumpkin patch echinata that will kill anything within 10-foot radius.
That is really nice.
It's awesome. I come so close to buying one of those in the past, but they're just too aggressive. But they look so. If you could isolate it 6 inches away from it, anyway,
you've got 3 tanks.
Yeah, but 2 of them are
4 tanks.
4 tanks actually. 2 of them are little. Although actually, that's the one thing that's been liberating about the 4th tank, the Reef Casa, is I don't really care how the corals do. I don't like. I've realised I've bought. If you Google worst beginner corals or most invasive corals, it will come up with green star polyps, pulsing xenia, and clove polyps.
Yeah.
They're all going in my tank. 2 of them already in, and I'm waiting. But I want it to go crazy and just be overrun. I think it'll just be cool. So, but yeah, but yeah, I won't. But that wouldn't be suitable for that. They look nice. They look really nice, in fact. But that highlighter pink gunny is nice.
It is well nice. It's so much better. It's like so much brighter in person when you see it. I've also got another piece, which is
that new? Have you got that? Recently?
Yeah, I only got it the other day from the wholesaler. I got another piece which is like that, where it's some of the polyps are purple and some of them are pink, and people have been asking me to frag that for months, and I finally got around to doing it. I think I've got 5 or 6 pieces of it now. Obviously, they've got a heel, but even then, I probably still won't sell those because I've never seen it anywhere else. And if I then grow those out and then frag those as well, I've then got 12 pieces to go from.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with this, and I haven't done it like brilliantly well. You need to keep enough so that when you frag them, you have enough going forward, because they take so long to grow out. I'm not sure if that came out properly.
Yeah.
But what I was doing is I was getting a coral in, frag it into, I don't know, 10 pieces, selling 9 of them and keeping 1, and that 1 piece takes an entire year to grow, rather than keeping 5 of them and then just keep halving them. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Anyway, after 25 minutes, how has your week of reefing been?
Yeah, busy. There's a few things that I want to talk about in particular. So one thing, I bought this a while. Actually, when I got the Reef Factory Smart Tester, I bought something to check to check it against, to see if it was accurate. And I didn't actually ever end up doing it. I was going to do it before the review so I could say if it's accurate or not, but I couldn't be bothered in the end. But I've now used it. It is a Hanna, is it phosphate? Yeah, Hanna Phosphate Ultra Low Range Checker calibration kit.
Okay.
Now this is not actually, it's not a calibration kit as such. This, I can't remember how much this was. It's quite expensive. Was it 20, 30 quid, I think? And it's not a calibration kit because you can't actually calibrate the Hanna checkers.
It just tells you it's right.
Exactly. You can check it. And what it is 2 vials, and these are upside down, and you can see, I'll hold them against my shirt. Can you see what? No, you can't really see them. But one of them is pink and one of them is see-through. So one of them is slightly tinted. So they tint it to the right level, and they include a certificate, which I've got here. And it says this was tested. It should be 0.40. So when I do a test on my Hanna checker and read it against this, it should say 0.40. And it says plus or minus 0.03. So if the Hanna checker reads between 0.37 and 0.43, then it's within range.
Yeah.
And my Hanna checker read 0.37.
Okay.
So it is within range. But the thing that I thought was interesting about that is Hanna checkers are always seen as like the gold standard in the hobby, aren't they? Like if any testing machine comes out, alkalinity, phosphate, whatever, people say, let's see how it compares to my Hanna one. And I do the exact same. When I make videos, I do the same thing. But my Hanna checker reads 0.37 when it should read 0.04. Sorry, 0.4. So it's wrong. 3 points out. 3 points is quite a lot. So that means if my phosphate could be 0.03 or it could be 0.06. To be fair, that's accurate enough for me. I've not got a problem with that. But
that's fine as long as you're not like 0.03 and it's actually showing as 0.
yeah, indeed. But I just thought it was interesting. But because I'm sure they claim to have a narrower band of accuracy than 3 parts, but
I don't know. What I do know is that they're clearly very good at selling add-ons for their equipment. They sell reagents, little glass vials. They sell the calibration kits.
I spent 40 quid on glass vials the other day.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's funny because when I look at how much money I've spent for the company, like my expenses, I just go, how have I spent that much? Like, and then I realized it's all the little things add up, all the filter rollers and filter floss and phosphate removers and all the any reagents that you need.
Yeah.
It's a king eye angelfish. So,
the little things,
Yeah, just the little things.
There's Jonathan Stevens said, is there a way to use that Hanna thing on the smart tester? No, there isn't. And actually, you've reminded me. So I bought this because I was thinking, I can use this to put in the smart tester, but you can't. But so what? And so I thought, well, actually, all this is doing, if I put this on the video, is telling me if my Hanna checker's right. Which might have been useful, but it's not as useful as a proper reference. So no, there's no reference solution for the smart tester as far as I'm aware. Question for you from Jay's Real Reef. Ryan, did you say you were picking up some new corals this week?
What did you they're all the ones that were basically pretty much everything I got this week is on the website now. So I don't think I got anything which I haven't put on there. No, so basically anything new is on there. I'm trying to put some old corals on there as well. So I've had some caterpillars or catalophilias is what you call them. I have had them probably for like 2.5 years. They are massive. And the reason I've still got them is because I don't put them on the website. So, and there's only so many people come to the farm and they're quite expensive. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to now get everything on there, and those will probably be the last things I put on there.
But will they look the same size as a
That's the
frag
problem, because they're like this.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, how am I even get a picture of those?
How are you going
Because,
to post that?
well,
I know it shrinks down into a small. It must be bigger than a tennis ball, even when it's shrunk down.
oh yeah, it's definitely. It's probably like double the size, or even when
Yeah.
just the skeleton is probably like like that. So, I want Jamie to take it, but Jamie got one from someone else. So
Always bitter.
yeah. But so if anyone's looking for a really, really big one, you let me know. I know a guy. Probably should don't take that as a timestamp.
Yeah, I'm going to cut and paste it. I avoided the opportunity of commenting on the smutty innuendo. So
yes,
that's
well
personal
done.
growth. I've just looked these up. These Hannah things. They're 22 quid for the phosphate reference check. I tried to find reference checks for the other checkers as well. There's one for the alkalinity one, but I don't think they do one for all of them.
They do one obviously for salinity. I know that.
Yeah. But I just thought I wasn't aware of this until recently, so I thought it was worth mentioning. So there's one thing I've done and a few other things. So refugiums. You've never had a refugium, but
never.
people talk about them quite regularly as being fantastic, and I really like refugiums. Loads of benefits and that sort of stuff. But I currently on my water box, the only filtration I have is a filter roller that I don't think does anything for. I think it just polishes the water. It's the Reef Factory one, and they say it doesn't reduce nitrate and phosphate, and my results tend to agree with that. And a refugium, a massive refugium. Basically, the entire sump is a refugium.
Yeah.
And my phosphate is 0.33, so pretty high, and my nitrate is 0. And I've heard it said quite a lot. BRS often say that a refugium is a perfect solution because it will deal with nitrate and phosphate. That has never been my experience. And this is a 0 nitrate and pretty high phosphate is my exact experience with every refugium I've ever run.
It's interesting because carbon dosing does exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it does. Pisses me off.
Yeah. It's you said a minute ago that you don't think the reef mat affects your nitrate and phosphate.
The Reef Factory one in particular. I'm sure. And
why is that one different to the other ones?
Because presumably these are a different role. The one thing I need to say right now is this is just you and me talking, so this is not facts. Okay?
Oh yeah, we don't know anything. I don't even know why you all turn up each week.
Might be misremembering it. So, but I'm sure that's right. Reef Factory Smart Roller, because the others do, I think. But like, and even actually just so I've got one of each. I've got a Clarity, a Reef Factory, and a Red Sea. I'm actually going to make a comparison video of the three as soon as I get time. But in terms of darkness of the roll, the Reef Factory one is the lightest color.
Yeah.
The Red Sea is the medium color, and the Clarity is the darkest. Now they're on 3 different tanks with 3 different bioloads, 3 different feeding regimes, 3 different water change, the works. So it's a really poor comparison. But my reckoning is that the Reef Factory one does the least for nutrients, but polishes your water.
Yeah.
And then the Clarity does the most for nutrients, and then the Red Sea in the middle. But that's real back of the fag packet math. That is not. It's not accurate.
Have you ever checked what micron each of the filters are?
No, annoyingly.
That will tell you.
Annoyingly, they don't all tell you, and they do. So Red Sea do it in different. They use a different measurement. And I actually spoke to Red Sea about it. I was like, what's the equivalent? I know you can't, but what's the equivalent of in microns? And they were like, oh no, you can't measure. So okay. So with all of them, I wish just all manufacturers would quote the same measurement and say, okay, the same unit. So I can say Red Sea is 100, Clarity is 50, whatever, but they all quote different figures. I think
it's interesting because why does it matter that they quote different figures? Because you're buying different things, if you see what I mean. If you have one which is a lower micron, obviously you'll go through your roll quicker, but you'll have cleaner water. Whereas if you go for one with a higher micron, your roll will last longer, but you'll have less clean water. So it's not like why would you not want to compare to your competitors?
Because you might want to know exactly that.
Yeah. So odd.
But whatever. I don't really know. Actually, and I've just read the description of the Reef Factory one, and it says special high quality material to keep water crystal clear and maintain parameters. So it doesn't say that it deliberately doesn't reduce nitrate and phosphate. It says and maintain. I don't know what that means. That sounds like marketing bullshit.
I just think anything, if it's taking out mysis, like whole chunks of mysis or pellets that would have dissolved in the tank, it must be having an impact.
This is very true. Prevention rather than cure. So yeah, I think that's probably, ignore what I said. What he said is more sensible. I'm sure it said there somewhere. I'm sure I read that because I did. When I make a review, I read as much as I can, so I know as much as possible about it. But like you, oh yes, I was right. I found it. Like you have a bad memory. The certified. This is from the Reef Factory website.
Yeah.
Certified non-woven fabric removes larger particles of impurities from the water, and at the same time retains the trace elements necessary in aquaristics. NO3 and PO4. They're not trace elements, but whatever. It says works perfectly with protein skimmers. So that my interpretation of that, and maybe I'm misinterpreting that, is that it polishes water, but it lets phosphate and nitrate through. But anyway, whatever. I think you're right. If it will stop, it's prevention, so it will stop.
Yeah, it will stop larger pieces from, and it will. And in turn, it'll also improve your protein skimmer, so it will be having some effect on them.
True, and that's a large part of the reason I want it, is to remove all the crap before it breaks down.
Yeah,
on all of them, and they will all do that. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, okay. So that was I can't remember what I was talking about that bit. Two more things. Firstly, last week I was talking about Reef's Elements pH plus, and again, this is just two people talking down the pub. These are there's no facts in this particular section of the live stream. This is my understanding, but I said that sodium hydroxide boosts pH more than alkalinity, and that's what my understanding always was, but that's not correct. Someone posted a link from the Randy Holmes Farley article in the chat, so I went and read that afterwards, and now my current understanding, and this is current understanding, I'm not a scientist, this could be wrong.
I zoned out of the last explanation, and I'll zone out this one as well. So.
Fine, all right. I'll talk to the guys. So my understanding now is that per unit of alkalinity that you will increase. So any dosing solution that will increase your alkalinity by 1 DKH, nothing increases pH more than Kalkwasser, including sodium hydroxide. So this is per Randy Holmes Farley. He says calcium hydroxide is more effective at increasing pH than sodium hydroxide. So if that's the case, why would you use Reef's Elements pH plus instead of calcium hydroxide? Because Kalkwasser is cheaper and it boosts pH more. There's an answer to that. With Kalkwasser, you are limited. Like, he's just completely switched off.
For me, yeah, definitely. I'm actually interested in the chat. Who else is like zoned out?
It's fine. I'll keep talking. With Kalkwasser, you are limited to your amount you dose. The amount of water you lose to evaporation. So on my main tank, it's between 3 and 4 liters. So I can't dose more than 3 or 4 liters per day of Kalkwasser, and my alkalinity and calcium uptake is a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Whereas with Reef's Elements pH plus, I can dose as much as I want. So the fact that you're putting more in counters the fact that it's not as effective at increasing pH as calcium hydroxide.
The only limiting factor is your bank balance, because it's a lot more expensive.
And it's a lot more expensive. And actually, if I was advising someone, for most people, I still think Kalkwasser is better. It's just that I don't care about the extra expense of dosing solutions, because I think I would rather cut out the hassle and the downsides. If Reef's Elements pH plus didn't exist, and if it doesn't work, I might change my mind. I might go back. If it didn't exist, I'd stick with Kalkwasser 100%. And
I am interested to see, because you've been banging that drum for Calc for so long now. I'm very interested to see what will happen with this.
Well, so the one thing is I've got an old pH probe. I think it's probably a year old.
Yeah.
And that's at the kind of point when I'm not sure how reliable it is. So I should probably replace it. But I'm keeping an eye on it. So I'll see what it does. But anyway, I'll feedback when I've got some useful information and when I've actually used it. And someone did say recently, what was it? Someone said asked me to do a setup video when I get the ozone thing, and I said, well, I might do, but the reason I don't on things like that is because if I were to do if I were to have done a video on Reef's Elements last week when I've only just got it, I'd be telling you all this stuff. Whereas if I do it in 6 months' time, I actually know what I'm talking about. So,
true. Kind of like me with the Reef Bot a minute ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so useful to sit on stuff. But anyway,
I think the opinionated reefer thinks you're sponsored by Reef's Elements.
I'll come back to that. Rene Vanderbilt says he's explaining it wrong again. If I am, if you're not just taking the piss, tell me. But that was my understanding. Actually, let me go. I pulled up the page. So this is quoting Randy
Basically, just read the page, and then you'll be
it's a
fine.
really short link. No chemical additive can boost pH and not alk. Well, yeah, okay. Second bit is no chemical can boost pH more than Kalkwasser per unit of alk added. And then he goes on to say, but you're limited by evaporation. So that's where I've got this from, and that's my understanding. But Rene, why are you taking the mic? I think that's sarcastic. But I don't think I'm being accused of being sponsored by Elements. I think he's probably talking about something else. Oh, Ultimate Reef, yeah, because I'm not.
Oh, because I was trying to work out who that was referring to.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I bought it. But no, yeah, there was, but I saw that post on Ultimate Reef. It got deleted, but yeah, no. I think it'll be good, but I'll report back.
I look forward to hearing the third explanation of this.
But anyway, yeah. But some people are interested. You might not be, but there's 4 other people in the chat.
Look, well, this is all I need from you. It works, or it doesn't work, or this is better, or this is not better. Then I'm happy.
And this is why these like interim updates week on week they're kind of interesting to talk about, but they're not really valuable because it's me saying, oh, I think this is how it might work, and then but it's like just anyway, whatever. That's the point of this conversation. And the thing is, there's enough people out there who've used it for ages. If that's a per gram, then yes. Okay, anyway. Chris Allen says, been using pH Plus for about 8 months now. Brilliant. Is my pH as high as it would be with Kalkwasser? No. Oh, interesting.
Right, we've got one person who says brilliant. I'm going to go buy it.
Yeah, that's
how it works, isn't it?
All I want. So I've already got a different alkalinity solution that increases that doses trace elements, magnesium, all that. Anyway, the last thing is RTN. So this was the photo on the
this
thumbnail.
is yours, isn't it?
Yeah. So I just had this coral. Everything has been sweet as a nut in my tank.
Yeah.
And then I came down one morning, and there was this. So you can see the photo of the thumbnail. It's like a triangle shaped pattern, and it's this one coral that's on my weir box. So it just bases out all over the weir box. And I came down, and there was a little triangle shaped white patch, brilliant bright white patch, and I was like, oh no. Just suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Nothing had changed, no obvious reason. And it was one coral. And I've had this for 3.5 years, and I bought it from Eurocorals, and I believe they've had it for quite a long time. So it's not like it's a wild colony or whatever that's just come out of the ocean. It just started to strip. The next day, that white patch had doubled.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's when you start to panic.
Exactly. And so I ran a few tests. Because RTN I think is a funny term, because you get people say RTN and STN, rapid tissue necrosis and slow tissue necrosis. And people sometimes talk about it like my coral died of RTN. Whereas that's rapid tissue necrosis, coral dying quickly, that's a symptom. That's not a disease as such. So your coral doesn't die of RTN. It's like if your dad had a heart attack and he had a purple face, you wouldn't say he died of having a purple face.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
clumsy explanation, but anyway. So RTN, like if you look up RTN, people talk about it as like it's basically unexplained sudden stripping of acros in particular.
There does seem to be a whole like some people think it's bacteria, some people think there seems to be a few different things when you look at it. There might now be an answer, but I agree with you. As far as I know, it has been one of those things where people go, I'm not really sure what that is.
Yeah.
So
unexplained coral death syndrome.
Yeah.
Well, actually, so on this occasion, I know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
No, it was rapid tissue necrosis, 100%. It stripped. First off, it stopped stripping now. So it got to the point where it was the patch is big. It's not much bigger than it was on the thumbnail, but that's a lot of coral real estate that's gone. But it stopped, and I was starting to worry because I really don't want to lose that. It's a really nice coral. It looks a bit crap on the photo, but it's a really nice coral. However, so if you look up RTN, it talks about bacteria and all these sorts of things. And there will be instances when you've got pristine water quality. There's literally no explanation whatsoever. You can do ICP tests. Everything's fine. And it will be some kind of bacteria. Vibrio is the one that that often gets quoted. So that might well be the case, actually. That might well cause it. But for me, turns out I did not have pristine water quality. So I did about 2 months ago, maybe. It was my water quality was fantastic in that tank. I'd been testing magnesium, calcium, the works, and everything was sweet. In fact, 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, my magnesium was somewhere between 13 and 1500, so quite high. Fine with that. I tested after I spotted the problem with the coral stripping, this RTN. Salinity, spot on, 35 parts per thousand.
Of course.
Woo! And that's because of that £1,000 piece of equipment. Anyway, so salinity was great, which is fine. So that was my first relief, because I had too many issues with that. But that's where the good news ends. Oh, actually, ALK was fine. It was 8.4, and it's always around 8-ish. But that's where the good news ends. Nitrate, 0. Phosphate, 0.08. That's fine, actually.
Yeah.
Calcium, 360.
Okay.
Magnesium, 1110.
Yeah, that was. I remember you sent me the message going, my coral's like dying. And then probably it wasn't that long afterwards, you went, "Oh, these are my parameters," and I was like, "Okay,
exactly.
Okay, we know what it is now."
So, but it's although actually, so I did a few things. So first off, I started dosing nitrate because that's an easy way to get. That's unlikely to be the problem, but whatever. I started dosing magnesium as well, and I bumped up. I've got the second part doses calcium and magnesium, and I bumped that up massively. I'm now dosing twice as much calcium and magnesium as I am alkalinity. But it's still it's only creeping up very, very slowly. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to dose a lot for the next one. I might buy a separate bottle of calcium and a separate bottle of magnesium, actually, because I've used up all the bottle of magnesium I had. I've used it all up getting this up. Yeah. But basically, all of my parameters were in the toilet 6 weeks after they were spot on. So on October. So December they were pretty good. October they were almost perfect. December they were pretty good. Middle of January, terrible. So it's probably something to do with that.
Is it fair to say that you took your eye off the ball?
It is, but it's not the first time. The only thing with this is not the first time I've taken my eye off the ball. It's not the first time I've done a test and found results like that. And I haven't had coral stripping all the time.
Yeah. But the reason I said that is because it's like people need to know that this happens to everyone. Someone in the chat said, "Oh, my torch coral died. That's how I found this live stream." I was Googling like how to. Now torches are a bit funny. But this is happening to people all over the world every day, to some extent. The thing that I did find quite interesting is that the first day there was a little patch of white, wasn't there? You didn't test, did you?
No.
It was the next day.
Yeah, when it was bigger. And when I knew it was going to be bigger.
Well, that's what so many people do. There's a problem, and on the first day they go, "Oh, these things happen sometimes. Our corals are a bit unhappy," and then the next day is way worse.
The thing that there was no part of me that was thinking, it's just a one-off. I knew what way the wind was blowing with that.
Yeah,
I was just like, oh god. Actually, I dosed a bit of iodine as well, just because that might help a dying coral. One thing, but one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is not really this is how you fix RTN, because I don't think anybody actually properly knows that. But one of the main reasons I want to talk about this was because RTN will sometimes be you've got water perfect, there's nothing wrong with your water whatsoever. Your flow and your lighting is spot on. There's no toxins in the tank. Everything is mint. And for some reason a coral dies and you've got no idea. It's unexplainable. Who knows? But I reckon probably 90% of RTN is a situation like this, when you've not tested your water as much as you should have done, and suddenly there's something in there that shouldn't be in there, and it's not unexplainable. It's just that you've not tested, or you've used an old test kit that has expired or whatever.
Or in some cases, you're using as you just said, a test kit that's expired or not properly calibrated, like a Hannah pen.
Yeah, exactly.
So this was a little while ago now. obviously you came in and tested the salinity on the coral farm, and it was higher than it was meant to be. And for years, not for years, for a while, like I was growing Sophastria in that system and it was doing so well. And then all of a sudden it just stopped growing. And I couldn't grow. Everything else was okay, but you saw it. But I just couldn't grow Sophastria. And it was like, how does it go from being invasive to I literally cannot keep it alive? It was so bad. I actually took it out of that system and moved it into the other system, and now it's invasive in that system. so it's fine. I'm glad I did it, but I was doing all these things and all the tests were coming back correctly. Now that I've lowered the salinity, because obviously the salinity was too high, it's like things like the Sophastria is growing in there again, which I found was really interesting. So for a while, I thought like, oh, it's just one of those things where for something's bothering that specific coral, and if everything
I'm
else
not going
is
to change everything exactly. Yeah.
Yes. So, as I said, since lowering the salinity back down, I put it back in there just to test it. It's like it's started growing again, and I just thought, like, I've thought about this for months. Like, why that one specific coral would not grow? So
actually, rounding off that the conversation about RTN and that. So, I reckon that actually most RTN, unless it's someone who's completely on it and testing all the time and testing properly, calibrated equipment, all that sort of stuff, most RTN is probably water quality, and I bet of that the majority, at least 50%, will be salinity.
Yeah,
because that's just it's off for loads of people.
It does seem to be that way.
That's a random guess, but anyway. But the other, so you made a point about if one thing's off, one coral is looking sad, you don't go pissing around and changing everything else because everything else is fine, and that's generally a good approach, and that's the way I do it. But actually, often you will find, and actually, if there are times when one coral is just pissed off for no reason, and if you go changing your lights, changing the flow, changing what salt you use, or dosing whatever, you're pissing in the wind because you don't know what you're trying to fix. That's a bad thing. But actually, often it can be that one coral is your canary in the coal mine, and just because everything else is okay now doesn't mean it's going to be okay in 3 months' time or whatever.
Totally agree. It's quite interesting because you become, the longer you do this, you really become quite in tune with your tank. If you've been doing this for years, oh well, you might disagree, but I definitely, like, I know I can look at the systems and go, it's interesting. There's like that specific coral slightly closed today, or what annoys me the most is when you've got like 10 corals of all identical, and then 3 of them are open, and then 7 of them are closed. And you're like, well, what is happy about these 3 that's not happy with these 7? That's usually garnies, and it's usually manganese, which is like as soon as I see any garnies that are like even just slightly, just put a couple of bits of manganese in. Next day they're out. The trackies don't particularly like higher salinity, I've noticed. They were also one of those corals where they sort of shrivel up, and then when I lowered the salinity, all of a sudden they opened like all puffy again.
Yeah, okay, that's the same story with my trackie actually.
Yeah, so there's definitely, like, you definitely learn some corals. It might be harder with an all SPS tank. I don't know.
So in terms of being in tune with your tank, I absolutely am. In that if something is a tiny bit off, 1% off, I'll notice because I look at it so much.
I was talking about in general that everyone. I wasn't specifically saying you're obviously
no. I know, but I think what I'm saying is that if I'll notice if something's off, but I won't be able to say. Like, there are some people who are at the level that when they'll be like, yeah, okay, I need a bit more molybdenum. I need a milliliter. And I'm not at that level. I can often tell normally that if something's wrong, I go looking, and I'll have an order of things I want to check first.
Yeah, the next day.
Exactly. Yeah, 24 hours later.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a good quote from Mabuyak. Every coral is a canary in the coal mine. I like that. It's true. Because corals don't just die for no reason. They die for reasons that we can't work out.
Think about all the corals that haven't survived in your tank when you were like at the beginning, and you sort of went, oh, it's just part of the hobby. These things happen.
Do you know, the one thing I did with that at the start in particular is because people say that all the time, and people like me, even you and I will say it's
Yeah.
just part of the hobby, because it is. But you convince yourself. So in the early days, there were sometimes I'd lose acros, and I was like, it's just one of those things. And it's like, actually, hang on, it might be just one of those things. But before you reach that point, go and test everything.
Yes.
And go
Yes.
and check, and I'm talking light flow, the works. Don't just think, and I've there have been times in the past where I've thought straight away, well, it's like, no, that might be the case, but it's the least likely explanation.
I would love to know what my parameters were on my very first tank, because I didn't test anything. This was obviously a long time ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This was, as I said, this would have been 17 years ago now, I think, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 17 now. I didn't test anything, but I only had soft corals. And I didn't have any phosphate remover. There was no carbon dosing. I was only doing water changes.
Yeah, okay.
And so I just wonder, like, how outrageous were my parameters?
Yeah, I was actually quite good at testing on my first tank.
No, see, I wasn't. I was one of those people. Remember, as I said, I was like young and stupid and like didn't have I couldn't afford to be in the hobby. Like it's way worse now, but I couldn't afford to be in the hobby at the time. I was trying to do it on a shoestring.
Yeah.
And I just think I swear on my life I didn't test phosphate on that tank ever. Not a single time.
Okay.
So if I had a coral that died, I would have gone, oh, I just didn't like the tank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, why is that acro not surviving when all this xenia is doing so well?
Yeah. But sometimes it's hard to even though that is bloody obvious, and we're laughing about it now, because it is obvious. Sometimes it's easy to it's difficult to actually tell yourself, no, you do need to go and test all this. So.
Yeah, I don't think it was drilled into people as much as it is now. I know it seems obvious, but I really, really don't think it was drilled into people as much back then as it is now.
Yeah.
Because there was no YouTubers telling you. Remember, my learning came from a book. So that book wasn't going, you need to test your water every week. It was this is what this fish is. This is a yellow tang. You can't keep
this
with
is
any
how
other.
much rock you need.
Yeah, you need to fill up your entire tank with rock. So, and obviously the fish shop was my other source of knowledge. And if they didn't specifically say, go test your water, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So
you said there was a guy earlier who looked at torches. You said he was struggling with torches and RTN, and that's why he's clicked on this. I can't find a comment. I'm sure it's there somewhere. But torches, you mentioned quickly. Torches are a bloody nightmare. So I have 3 that were in my water box tank, which is to my left. And if you want to go and see what that tank's like, I've made a video on the main channel recently. It looks awesome, if I do say so myself. But the torches in there, they were, for whatever reason, they were bloody miserable. And this was not when I was having salinity issues. It was just they just for whatever reason, they kept like the flesh at the bottom, the flesh band kept receding. They were never really out that much. They just were crap. And now I've put them in the cage. They're not like absolutely banging and suddenly really fluffy and perfect, but they're noticeably better. And the parameters are very, very similar between both tanks. The lighting is very similar. The flow is identical. That is a smaller tank with less water volume. Just that is something that I can't explain, even having done all the testing. Torches are just a pain in the arse sometimes.
I noticed that Euphilia definitely don't like significant drops in phosphate. I have noticed that. As soon as whenever you put Rofos in my system, all the other corals look great. Torches look less happy. I'm like, what's wrong with you guys?
They really don't like it. Okay.
There's definitely, it's interesting because obviously with what I do it for profit. And if I'm not good at what I do, I don't get to eat. I don't get to make, I don't make any money. So, when you pick corals, or when I pick corals, you have to take that into account. So if someone says to me, do you want £1,000 worth of torches, or do you want £1,000 worth of, I don't know, lobophilias or something, I'd rather take the lobophilias than the torches, because there's a far higher risk with the torches.
Yeah.
Now, look, I've got torches in there now. I've had them for months, but that doesn't mean that at any point you won't lose all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what happens. They get brown jelly sometimes if they're not happy. It could be something very simple, like when I put the photography frame in, Like I might just accidentally nick one, and all of a sudden that's it, and it'll wipe out all of the euphyllia.
Do you know what? With hammers, I've moved a couple of. You can see them on the back wall of the cade. There's 3 on the back wall of the cade that I've put in place. I put 3 hammers there for my water box, and when I move them, and I find this often, hammers are really delicate, and it's really easy for the heads to be sliced off. And every time I touch a hammer, I end up with bits of hammer coral, bits of flesh floating around the tank.
Just do it at night, because then they'll be closed.
Yeah, well, I'm not planning on moving them. Just you mentioned phosphate.
Yeah.
About 2 months ago, I bought this, and I've still not installed it yet. It's the big version of the Nios Torque.
I like those.
This is brilliant. So this I'm going to do. One of the reasons I haven't installed this is because I'm going to make a video on the Reef Dork Extra channel. I bought this, by the way, it's not sponsored. And I want to have it in my hand so I can show you whilst I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
That's a stupid reason not to install it, but I've got the small one anyway. But anyway, it's so good. And the one thing I don't like about my existing one, it's the 1 litre chamber that I've got at the moment. The lid is so tight.
Yeah.
Like it needs a team of 10 men to open it. And I was like, bloody hell. Well, I suppose it's good that it's locked in place. But I got this one, easy as pie. It comes off. This is not. So it goes on off really. So I think I just have a really stiff one, as it were.
I've never had the other one, so I don't know. But yeah, I love them. Yeah. So it's one of those things where if it's something that's easy to do, you'll do it.
Yes.
And that's. I used to hate the ones where you have a tube that goes into the reactor. And I mean, there is one benefit. If you're using Röhrfoss, you can siphon that out of. You can clean it.
But even that's the Deltec FMR 709 or 509.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
fluidized media reactor. Whatever. That was that was if you bought when I started the hobby, that was basically the only one available. I'm sure there were others, but that's the only one you could ever see. And it had a bayonet. Was it a bayonet fitting?
Yes,
it was a screw top fitting.
Yeah, a screw top. Yes,
that was just, and you'd always get bits of Röhrfoss in it, so you could.
It's so annoying.
Get it on properly, and then when you did, you turn it. You've got to have it. You've got to buy a pump separately, and then you've got to plumb that in with a flexible hose.
Yeah,
and then
or you can pay extra, and they'll give you a pump.
But they're probably a noisy pump. And then when you get all that set up, you turn it on, and it would from the base. So it's got the base is like this. It would be spraying water up one side, so it's tumbling on one side and still on the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, I hated it. But this thing is just tumbles it so nicely, and it's just easy to pop it off. What are you saying?
James just said those Torques drive me up the wall. What?
They're awkward to twist into the base. Oh, really? The sponge clogs up all the time. So the twisting in the base, that's my favorite part of it, is that because it's got a DC pump, AC pump, which is in theory bad because they're noisy, but I don't find it noisy, and because it's AC, it's reliable. But what I love about this is you can twist it really slowly and adjust the flow rate just by twisting it like that, and that means you can adjust the flow rate perfectly so it tumbles right. So I love that.
You know what I love even more with one of mine? So if you hold it up, like there's a bit on the bottom, isn't there? I don't sure if it's meant to come off, but I have broken that bit off. Does that come off?
I don't know. I've not. It looks like yes, I think it does. I can see. It
okay.
Does.
Well, so I actually take it off there. So I never actually take it out of the thing. I literally, if I just tilt it.
Oh, I see.
If I just tilt it, it comes off at the base, and I just slot it back on. So it takes me probably 3 seconds to get it off. There's no twisting or anything. It always stays the same level of flow going through it. The only downside, obviously, was once it got blocked, and then it was pissing water out.
Yeah,
it was shooting it across the room. Yeah, that was my own fault. So I actually now have taken the filter sponges out of the tops of them to stop it from happening again.
See, when you said that, I clean the sponge every time I do it. It only takes a few seconds. But anyway, this is becoming a stroke fest. So I don't want to be too much of a fanboy, but they're just brilliant. Yeah. They're so good. Anyway.
Someone said torches were easy. That is very, very misleading.
That is a hot take. Who said torches are easy? Who's that?
Where was it? I can't remember. I can't find where it is.
Anyway, they're not. Sometimes, but then this is the thing. Sometimes they are.
Oh yeah, Reef Hub at 8 p.m. They're not that hard to keep.
Well, you might have. Sometimes it's the sort of coral that you might buy, and it looks spectacular. It's always perfect in your tank, and you'll be thinking, "What's all the fuss about?" But it's and I'm not saying that they will all. No one will ever be able to keep a torch coral. Some of them will be totally fine, but just they're like if you buy a Monty, 1 in 100 will die. If you buy a torch, 1 in 10 will die, or whatever. It's just higher risk.
Whenever I get a shipment, like an import shipment in, and it comes with Euphilia, the ones that are most likely to die of all the Euphilia, in fact, of all the corals in all the boxes, the torches seem to be the worst. Definitely, hands down, the worst. You don't lose Lobophilias, you don't lose, I don't know, I can't think what comes in the boxes now. Even with the SPS corals, I'd say that to some extent they are definitely worse than those. How old is Ryan? Interesting. Well, I don't know how old I am.
Someone flirting me. Someone asked earlier about the sumps, the fancy sumps. I can't find it now. For Royal Exclusive Dreambox. Have you heard of them?
Only because I read the comment a minute ago, and I was like, I don't know what that is.
It's a dream. It's like a £1 million sump, basically. Obviously, exactly. I can't remember how much they are, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
And he was asking if anyone's had them. I've never had them. Actually, I don't know if I'd want one. If they gave me one, I'm not sure I'd want one because let me bring it up. They look very nice.
Oh, you bring it up because I was about to Google it.
Yeah, I could see you a dream box.
Oh, you can see when I'm going to do stuff because you can see my arm comes up, can't you?
Exactly.
I just realised.
So this is Reef Bum's dream box, in fact. So this is the dream box. So it's a fancy sump with lids on it, so it reduces evaporation. All very neat and tidy, all that sort of stuff. The reason I wouldn't want that is because, and I might be wrong, by the way, I've never had one, but that to me means there's not much flexibility. So if I decided, if my skimmer broke and I wanted to buy a different one, it's all locked in place because it's got to be the right size. And if I want to move something around because I've decided that one thing's in the wrong chamber, or if I need to buy a phosphate reactor because my phosphate is too high, it's not as flexible as just an open sump. I think I prefer the idea of an open sump.
Definitely. Actually, I agree with you. I was being distracted by the chat as people are guessing my age for some reason. I'm not going to tell them. I'll let them.
About 3.5, 47.
Without Botox, 47. I've not had any Botox ever.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's taking the mic. But you were so defensive that I'm starting to wonder if
what I will say is I am like surprisingly less wrinkly than most of my friends. So they must have a much harder life than me.
But yeah, I wouldn't want one of these personally. I think they look really cool. But I don't like the idea of the flex because like this, you can see the skimmer has to be in that exact spot because of the shape of the lid and all that. So I prefer a bit of flexibility. As nice as they look, and I'm sure they're amazing build quality. They better be for the money.
Someone said $3,500. Is that right?
They vary because you get all different sizes and all different things and all that sort of stuff. So it's probably like saying how much is a house. But yeah, they're expensive. So. So how are you, Ryan? How old are you? Because
I'm not telling them.
Shall I out you? I know roughly where you are.
Do you?
Yeah, I could guess within. I could guess within 2
years. You get one guess, and I'll tell you if you're right.
33.
No, you're wrong.
34.
I said one guess.
It's 34.
You're like 45, aren't you?
Not far off, to be fair.
I'm not 36 either. So far, no one has guessed it right. I don't know why people. Why has this come up? Why are you interested in my age? It doesn't matter. I will tell you, but I'm just interested because
there's a new guest in the chat.
Why did you just guess 32?
You're between 32 and 34. Time for a poll. 31. You're just gonna have to say, otherwise we're gonna be talking about this for the next 50
Exactly.
minutes.
I'm 34, but I'm intrigued as to why you want to know.
Didn't I say you were 34? Was that my guess?
33.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I am 41.
Are you actually 41?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were like 39.
Yeah, no, 41. Yeah. Well, bastard. Anyway,
wow.
I do look young.
Hang out with me. I keep you young, don't I?
This is true. Yeah. Last thing before we move on to member questions and that sort of stuff. I'm doing a giveaway for Reef Dork members. So, but I've posted this already in the member section, so if you might have seen it. But it is the Reefcaster refractometer. So I was given this with the Reefcaster kit, but I've got 2 refractometers, so I've never used it.
Yeah.
But it's a they're worth having. They're a really good bit of kit. So I'm going to give this away, and to qualify, if you have to be a member first off, and you have to be in the UK because I'm going to post it. But go on to the member section of the Reef Dork page, and I've posted a photo of this saying that there's a giveaway. Comment the word salinity under that post, and I will do a random name generator at the end of this live stream, and I'll give it away to whoever.
I better get on there, although I'm not a member.
You're not a member.
I do have a question though. I just remembered. I sent you a text message last night, didn't I? For my own free giveaway.
I was out last night.
And you never replied. I want to. You know what? Oh, I know you did about the Asterinas.
No,
I sent you a message saying, "Can you 3D print one of those Asterina scoops for me?"
Oh, yes.
I want to send them back to you.
I thought, I didn't know if you were joking or not. Do you actually want one?
No, I do. Yeah, I actually want one because it'll just make, if it can be quite wide as well. I don't know how wide you can make them, and obviously I'll pay you for it. What happened to Miss Award? You are like many years late.
Do you know what? The other day I went onto Reef to Reef, and I did some searching. I searched Miss Saltwater Tank.
Oh, nice.
Because you told me about a comment that someone else made.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to go into.
It wasn't on Reef to Reef.
No, but I wondered. But anyway, there was a thread where loads of people were saying, "What happened to Miss Saltwater Tank?"
I know. I've seen them all. I have. I've seen them all. I tried to. A lot of things were actually removed as well. Like I even spoke to Reef and asked them to get Reef to Reef. They basically went, "Look, we have to be fair on our members, and although this is something from years and years ago, it's like these people have posted, so we can't remove other people's posts." Which, to be fair to them, there was a reason I asked for it. Is because obviously at the time there was some backlash for her rather than me, and I just went, "Look, this is what we want." So, but everything's all forgotten now. So it comes up every so often, like now. But I have no regrets. And it was like one of the best things I ever did. So
I was really pleased when you came out of the Ashes, because I actually wasn't that much of a fan of Miss Saltwater Tank, and I know it was basically you behind the scenes, but I it wasn't really my cup of tea. Although to be fair, the same Aaron's Aquarium I didn't like at first. I grew to like him, but when you became Prestige Reef, I much preferred that. But
you found me way more attractive to watch.
Way more attractive,
yeah. But yeah. So, and there was a video about what happened to Miss Saltwater Tank, although it's now gone. So
is that because when you take a video down from YouTube, you can delete it or you can just make it private?
No. That's just private. I can bring that back if I want. So no, I don't ever delete any videos. I sort of keep them.
You don't know.
No, I keep them in the background. It's similar actually to the one. So there is a video of Macla 2018 which is not there anymore at the moment. It's specifically not there because the thumbnail is a picture of me and Mindy. So it's I just thought for any future relationships I have, they probably won't like that. So I will probably end up changing the thumbnail and just bring it back. But
no one will click on it.
And that's the thing, no one will click on it. So who knows?
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was more for like peace in the future is what it needs. So
very good. Well, we are now going to move on to the member questions. Your channel members, and I'm gonna have to filter through a bit of this because a lot of it was about that, and I've lost my little name wheel. That's annoying. Where's my name wheel? I've got to start it again. Anyway. So, member questions. Giveaway, Calquasa. Here we go. Member questions. So, there were three. Now, there's one member question and then two follow-up comments. This is from Rich's Reef. And he says, Alex, as you are a close personal friend of Andrew Sandler Polo Reef, he is my mate. Can you share any details of what happened to Rashid? And my reply to that was, oh, has he left?
I was going to say, what?
So Rashid's story or Stowry, I can't remember. Anyway, Rashid was his social media manager, I think. He was the guy who, when Andrew came on the live stream, Rashid was doing all the stuff in the background and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And I think he was running their YouTube channel. But so I didn't know what happened to him. But Richard Reef says he was like a fart in the wind, completely scrubbed from the records and no explanation.
Really?
Which I don't know, it might be just an exaggeration or whatever. But no, I don't know. I don't know. I do follow Polo's Reef on Instagram, I think, but I don't pay really close attention. So.
Do you know what? I noticed something actually, and I genuinely don't care. I just thought it was interesting. So, and this isn't about Polo. This isn't about Polo. This is actually about you. You look at everything. You like everything. You watch everything on YouTube. You read all the Reef Builders articles and every possible magazine. You don't watch my Instagram stories. I have never seen your face come up. And I'm like, why? And I thought this like 3 days ago. I thought I must ask you. And apparently I'm asking you now.
Firstly, I'm not really into Instagram. I thought I did watch your stories.
I don't care that you don't. And I don't expect you to now start watching them. I just thought it was interesting that you do everything but that.
I'm not really into Instagram. So my Instagram following is about 6,000. Yeah. And there are ways of growing Instagram in the same way that you can grow YouTube. But I'm not really interested. I just want to post stuff that I think is worth sharing on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'm not really into it. I never ever do stories. I think I've done like 3, and I think you're supposed to do them all the time. And I'm not really like your stories are normally
a picture
like a coral. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't really.
Oh, I'm too boring for you, am I? Too boring for you?
Sometimes I click on stories, but I'm not really. I'm not that into Instagram, to be honest. I like the YouTuber I said about 2 weeks ago, who's going to be really good, Yorkshire Reefer.
Yeah.
I then found him on Instagram, and it turns out he's got a massive Instagram following. He's got like 20,000 already.
Yeah.
I had no idea because I don't really do Instagram. So
going back to Polo's Reef,
yes.
Ian Stafford has just put something out, but we cannot say that because we have no idea if that's true. And if you got that information from the YouTube's comment section, I would be skeptical about how true that is.
Indeed. Fair enough. Well, yeah. Michael, go on.
No, don't worry. I'm going to Google just to see who that is because I think it is who I think it is.
Who? Ian Stafford or Rashid?
No, the Polo's Reef person.
Yeah, Polo's Reef.
Yes, it was the other guy that was with him, wasn't it?
Rashid. Yeah.
They always seem like quite friendly with each other. I thought.
Who knows? He might have just moved on.
Yeah, maybe.
But Michael Eddy says, have you started dosing ozone yet? No, I've not set up an ozone generator yet. I've ordered it, but they're on back order. They're ordered from the supplier when you buy them from Kraken. And I think it said 2 weeks was the lead time, but I've not checked in. So it'll be at least another week before it arrives, probably longer. And when it does arrive, I don't know. I still haven't set up my auto water changer that I bought when I broke my hand. So it's a sort of thing. Ago. But so no, I haven't set it up as yet. And the next one is from Woody's Gamer Tag. So, super chat, thanks very much. Do recirculating skimmers work a lot better? I've never had one. Have you?
I don't know the answer to that question. Is my honest
answer?
In
theory, they do, and I think the Royal Exclusive Bubble King range, or some of them anyway.
How do they differ? What makes them recirculating?
They pump water in,
and then they recirculate it.
Yeah, I think that doesn't it re-clean? I don't know. I
I genuinely have no idea what a recirculation.
I've looked into it before, and there are BRS videos on it.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. But in theory, they're more efficient. But that's one. I don't know. That's one of the things I always think.
Well, you know me. I'm not an equipment junkie, am I? So no, I buy something and then I keep it for the next 10 years and never change it or clean it.
Yeah. Alex has a bad experience with ozone. Dissolved all his hair away 5 years ago.
Hey! Look, only I'm allowed to bully him.
A lot more than 5 years ago.
Yeah, but you're pretty old now, so it's like by this point in your life, you know, it's kind of expected for you to have no hair. So
I started getting bald when I was like 21. That was not expected. Anyway, there was someone said they have 2 pumps. There's a the Max Spec Air Aqua Duo is a recirculating skimmer, and I think that's a half recirculating and half non-recirculating. What do I know? They sound good, but who knows? Is my answer. And that means that we are on to Facebook questions. So there was sorry, not Facebook questions, stuff in the Facebook group. There's only one thing I wanted to pull up from the Facebook group this week, and that was a very impressive fish room. And this is Guy on the Facebook page. Oh, by the way, it's the Prestige Reef Dork Show Facebook page. It's such a friendly group. I would thoroughly recommend you join.
Because we're not there.
Well, we are there.
Actually, that's true. We are there.
Yeah, but I'd thoroughly recommend you join. It's just a really nice group, and you can share stuff, cool stuff that you want to post to talk about on here. Anyway, Casper Ostergaard, whose name I probably mispronouncing, Ostergaard. Anyway, has this. This is his fish room. There's a couple of things with this, right? Purple glow. There was a video. Let me take you to the video. It's like this is like BRS Investigates. He's got like these 3 tanks that are all like neatly set up. This looks like an experiment to me.
The purple glow was intentional. It's not from the lights. It's from the LEDs at the top, isn't it?
No. The purple glow is this is the video. So let's have a look here.
That's a well set up fish room. We can't hear you, by the way.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah. We couldn't hear you when the video's playing. Yeah, that purple glow is from the LEDs on the reef.
Yes, growing some suspicious-looking plants. Was all I'm saying.
Oh, that's what it's for. So,
but what I was saying is that's a really neatly set up room.
Yeah,
that's a lot of time and effort has gone into that. It looks cool, and it's not like you've just spent a ton of time on the room and no time on the tanks. The tank was nice as well. But I just
that's like living the dream. Most people would dream to have a room like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love a fish room. I really would.
Well, when you move house, you know what you're looking for now, don't you?
I know, yeah. I would like the idea would be a fish room, like a sump room, basically.
Yeah.
Where it's just all the filtration, like Jamie's got.
Yeah, but how often do you use your dining room, for example? Because I've been to your house. Never. Exactly. You never use. I'm sure you can talk to your missus and just say, "Look, we never use this, so how about we just like turn it into a fish room?"
Why not?
I mean, sure, it's rightly in the middle of the house, isn't it? You have to kind of walk through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll put in doors or whatever, but what was I thinking? So so that's the only thing I want to share on the Facebook page, and that means we are on to the Prestige Reef Fish of the Week.
Yes, right. So I have gone back to my taste in expensive fish again this week. I have gone for a reef safe triggerfish, which is a crosshatch triggerfish. There are not many reef safe triggerfish. But this is one of them. You also get the blue throat triggerfish, and I think is it a sargassum triggerfish? Which is this? And some people put the Niger triggerfish in reefs, although I'm pretty sure they're not. Well, they're definitely not reef safe with inverts. These are nice fish, but they're quite expensive.
So these won't eat inverts.
I don't believe the blue throat ones do, and I think they're of a similar type. You quickly close the screen down to check, have you?
No, I've closed the screen down because it's just not loading, and you've just got that. But
I think they're safe with. They're not going to be safe with things like sexy shrimp, which most things aren't.
No,
but I think they are safe with most inverts, like cleaner shrimp and blood shrimp and stuff like that.
On Live Aquaria, it says they're between $850 and $1,300.
Yeah, so if you just got a casual $850 or a casual $1,350, you can get that fish. It's not. I actually don't think it's that pretty. I think it's got an interesting tail.
That's an exaggerated photo, like with a flash or whatever as well. They're cool. Like this, if it looked like that all the time, that's wicked. But actually,
I mean, when you see them in person, that pattern on the side of it is quite impactful.
Yeah, I think they're a bit underwhelming. I want to like them more than I do like them. If you see
the thing that makes them cool is actually, which is as with basically every triggerfish, is the swimming, like the way they swim. So they don't swim like normal fish, which adds a sort of like a visual difference to the tank.
Their body is completely still, and their fins like go woo.
Yes,
like the top and bottom ones.
Yeah, so that's why I picked that, and I put a lot of thought into it. I did it, basically 5 minutes before the show started.
Okay, I like that though. That's good. And they're called triggerfish because on their back they've got the little spike that goes bomb that they wedge themselves into rocks.
That's correct. Yes. Yeah. Have you ever tried to get one out? Have you ever had a triggerfish? Oh, you've got a triggerfish now.
No.
Wait a minute. What's the fish in the reef casa tank?
You put in a triggerfish in a
No,
40-litre tank.
Oh, it's a filefish, isn't it?
Filefish, you
Yeah,
moron.
I was like,
Bloody hell.
what fish is that?
Yeah, no, it's a filefish. Mimic filefish. Yeah, no, I've never had one. The thing is, I would kind of like them because I think they're cool.
Yeah,
but they're just not cool enough to be.
I
think they need to look cooler.
I would be tempted.
If there was a copper-banded triggerfish, I'd have one.
No, I think the clown triggerfish are the coolest looking ones. I think.
Oh
honestly.
yes.
Actually, that's not even true.
Picasso.
They're like the weird. No, not the Picasso ones. Picasso ones are sort of like grey coloured, aren't they? I'm talking about the clown ones.
Yeah.
The clown ones with the yellow and the black and the white spots.
These are cool.
Yeah,
but these are uber aggressive and they get massive and. Yeah, so actually, that's not true. When I say that there aren't, so these look amazing, and I would love to have one like that, but they're just you would never have one. It's the reef safe ones. Just
yeah. It's I don't know if I've asked you this before. Actually, I'm pretty sure I have. So there's no point talking about. I was going to ask if there's a fish that you have like always wanted, and you've seen other people have been successful with, and you've been tempted, and then it would just. Actually, I already know it's your Harlequin tusk.
Oh, I tried that. The goldflake angel I really like.
Yeah, they
I
are
really
nice.
like a goldflake angel.
Yeah.
Rambo Slice says Live Aquaria blocks UK traffic. I think I have to set up a VPN to the US. It does not. This is the first time I've ever had a problem with it. I use Live Aquaria all the time.
Yeah, me too.
I don't set up a VPN. I'm in the USA and have never heard of it. You never heard of Live Aquaria? Oh, it's wicked. So I've never bought from it, but as a reference website, it's awesome. So this is your lucky day because you've just discovered a cool website. Don't know what they like to buy fish from, but anyway, I think they have a good reputation.
I don't know.
Is there a Prestige Reef Coral of the Week?
Yes.
Ooh,
I am going for, and I don't think I've done this before. I'm going to go for a Sunset Millipora.
Oh yes,
because I like Sunset Milliporas a lot.
Lovely.
And they're not like super difficult. They're one of the ones that would survive magnesium of 1,100.
Yeah, I have a Sunset Mill.
And did it survive?
It is alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
see?
effects.
Yes, it's they are one of the hardier, nicer.
They're not that expensive either.
No, they're not. They're one of the hardier, nicer SPS pieces. Yeah, so that's what I they pop, don't they?
Yeah, proper bright, really bright. Yeah, and really fluffy as well. Polished.
I knew you'd like that because my other option was that I was going to go Montport Suitor because I think it's underrated, but it's quite interesting.
Horrible.
No, it's got an interesting growth pattern. It's got a nice pattern on it. I mean, it is green, which is a bit of a downside, but it's got some yellow on it.
I'd have cut you off if you'd have said that as your coral of the week. But, no, the Sunset Mini is lovely. It's a stunning coral. Actually, that could be a centerpiece coral, and like you say, not necessary for an acro, not that difficult and not that expensive. What are you up to?
There was something I wanted to show people, and I've just realised that I can't. That it's actually quite interesting. There's two chalices in the coral farm which are completely different colors, but people that are colorblind, and I've had 4 people come, cannot tell the difference between them. They're like vastly different colors. One of them is like green and the other one's the most like vivid pink, but people that are colorblind cannot tell the difference. I wanted to bring them up, but maybe I can do that next time.
Yeah, do it,
because I was quickly trying to show. I might do an Instagram post on it.
You don't have. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Go on, Karen.
I was just going to say, it's quite interesting how many people that come to the coral farm are colorblind, or how many people that are in the hobby, because part of the good part of the hobby is all the colors.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's,
1 in 12. Hang on, 1 in 12 men. 8% of men are colorblind. That's high.
Yeah,
it's higher than I thought.
I know. I was surprised when I found out about you.
That's a joke, by the way, if you're watching. He always does.
you get so offended.
But I know there'll just be new people. Anyway, 1 in 200 women.
One of the guys came to the coral farm yesterday, and he said, "Oh, I see how you make fun of my disability with Alex."
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, oh yeah, Drew.
Yeah.
Probably need to be more careful, and that's why I decided to mention it today.
You used to have a Sunset Millie, but have you not got it anymore? It's not on your website.
No, I don't think I have. I don't think I might have a small frag of it. I think I've got a couple of frags of it somewhere. I think, but that's one of the things where I have to grow it again.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got a I actually think it is a Sunset Millie. Where I sent you a picture the other day of another acro, didn't I? And where I've just put a coral in the bottom tray of one of the systems.
Yeah.
And then I've just ignored it, and it started off as a frag, and it's now like this big.
Oh, you did? Yeah, that was quite nice actually.
Yeah.
I was surprised I hadn't. I've visited the farm a few times and I hadn't seen it. It looked really nice.
Yeah, it's just, and I've got one of those. I've got a Sunset Millie that's the same. I think it's a Sunset, or it's a very similar Sunset to a Sunset Millie. Are you currently looking for the picture?
Can't find it, but yeah. Okay, well, grow the Sunset Millie out, please, because I want other people to experience it because it's a nice coral.
Well, because you said so. As you know, I try and do what you tell me to do. I'm trying to find that picture as well now. I found it. It's that.
That's a terror. You can't see that.
That is, yeah. You can't see it. That's too blue. No,
Okay.
it's even worse. Okay, you can't see it.
Well, in which case we will segue onto the news. And the news. There's not much news this week, but there are a couple of things. So last week we did the Reef Builders top 50 products of the year, and I thought that the results might be out, but they weren't. This week the results have been revealed. There's not. I thought this was going to be like an ordered list. So number one is like with the most votes or whatever, but they've just on the website, the Reef Builders website, it's just got 10 in a list. So, and I don't know if they put it in order of most votes to least votes, but anyway. Yeah. I'm going to work on the basis that the one at the top of the list is number one. And the winner was a Seachase Scuba contactless heater.
No way.
It was way. But I've said enough bad things about that. And to be fair, 5-year warranty. And it comes out of the box at 25 degrees C. So you can just put it in your tank and turn it on, forget about it.
There you go.
So that was the winner. Second on the list, I say that was the first one. Second, actually, do you know what? I'm not going to run through the whole list, but what I will do is so last week I drew up a list. I pulled out 7 of what I thought were the best things on there. Basically, 5 of those 7 were in the top 10. So basically, come to me and I'll just tell you what's good.
Yeah.
And the 5 things on there that I pulled out were the Tunzi Osmolator 3, the new ATO, the Red Sea Reef Mat 250, the AI Nero 7. It's not very exciting stuff, is it? But the Seachase contactless heater and the Red Sea ATO. We need exciting products next year. We need big stuff that's like mind-blowing.
Yep, I want a robot that will walk into your house, test your water, and then walk back out, so I don't have to store it anywhere. That's what I want.
Okay. So we'll see if anyone's working on that.
One of those little Osmo. Who is it? One of the car companies has like a little robot that walks around.
Yes, Honda.
Yes,
Asimo. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, I want one of those.
You can buy one of those probably, but it might cost you a few quid.
Specifically, just to test the water. That's what I want.
Yeah, do you know what I think water testing is likely to be the big, from the stuff that I've seen that's been rumored.
Yeah.
There's 2 water testing products that are coming out that will test everything. So maybe this year is the time when they get a bit more sophisticated, and because it's been a while since the first 2018 was it? First alkalinity checker came out. So they're getting better and better. So maybe this is the year of the auto tester. Ryan is called an employee.
Yeah. People are very interested. They want to know what my phone is as well today for some reason. My phone's like an iPhone 11, I think.
iPhone 11.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't got the new one like you.
Yeah, I buy phones every 5 seconds. I'm a bit obsessed with phones.
My iPad, I'm pretty sure, is 11 years old.
That's mental. Do you edit on your iPad?
Yes.
That's crazy.
And I don't buy a new iPad because I've tried a new iPad and the the actual iMovie is different on a new one, and that will mean I have to learn how to use it. So I just don't. It was the best. Think about that. I bought the iPad, started making videos. It paid for itself like many times over.
You said you were going to start taking everything more seriously this year.
Yeah. Sure.
And that includes
Remember, I say things.
Upgrading from 720p footage on your videos.
Well. Look, now you're just being offensive because it's definitely not 720. I'm pretty sure it's is it 1080? Is that what it is? Is
1080.
that the
It's not
1080?
4K.
No, it's not 4K. No.
Has Refactory added nitrate to the smart checker or a date? It's Refactory. I don't know the answer. Refactory smart tester nitrate. Let's have a look. Oh, it's gone. It's taking me onto Etsy. Weirdly, and said you can't find. Anyway, I don't know the answer, but I'm guessing it's if I'm having to Google it, you've already checked and it's not there. So maybe not. Should have been out by now. It's been out a good 6 months that, and phosphate is probably the main thing people want, but they should have everything out by now. But Ryan is Apple's worst.
I saw that
as a customer.
True.
But yeah, and John
that iPad is so old now. It won't work on the internet properly. Like you can't open Google. It's so old. It doesn't matter.
What are you doing, Ryan?
All I need to do is transfer the videos from my phone onto the iPad, and edit them, and then transfer them back because I can't upload to YouTube from my iPad because it won't let me because it's too old. So I have to transfer it to my iPad and then transfer it back.
Okay, well, we're going to move on because this is I'm a tech guy and it's offending.
Well,
what was I going to say? So Kevin Kershaw says there's a new Mastertronic coming this year, the Mastertronic Essentials, and there's also a Reef mentioned it earlier, Reef Manager, Kamoa Reef Manager. Woody's Gaming Tag says I figured out the product I want. Google Indaquatics. It's a more automated frozen food feeder. Yeah, I've seen automated frozen food feeders pop up a couple of times, and they've been like they've displayed them at shows, but they've never come. Nothing's ever come to them. And I actually don't. I don't really like the idea of a frozen feeder. It's not coming up. Oh, and aquatics.
No, it's not coming for me either.
Indaquatics AF4. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. So let me share this. And that looks quite big to me. It's got that looks like a fridge. So
I don't think it's that big. I think it's like this.
Yeah, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty so I saw this company at one of the shows, I'm sure, but it wasn't a black box. It was a white box, which means it must have been, and it looked a bit different to that. So they must have changed it. So the one I saw was probably a prototype. It worked because I saw it at the show, but I think I saw it at the show. I think I definitely saw it. I don't know if I saw it working. But
that doesn't really excite me, and I can't. To be fair, if they made it really good and it works awesome, then great. But in theory, I just don't really like. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Maybe
I don't want a little box sitting above the tank.
No, exactly. Yeah.
I'm quite funny about what. It's funny. I'll ignore the diatoms, but I want my tank to look specific. I love the fact that the water box is so high you cannot see there's a lid on it. I hate tanks that have lids on them. They look ugly.
Yeah, it's true.
So everyone would rather have an open top tank. And my previous tank was always open top, but it did have a glass rim around the edge, and it also had like a wooden panel around the top, which I assume hopefully kept most fish in. Whereas when I had to change to a it takes away from the aesthetics of the tank.
Can I tell you? Sorry,
I was going to say, and a box sitting above it would do the same.
A pelmet, yeah. Can I tell you a secret if you promise not to tell anyone?
I can't promise not to tell anyone. I'm terrible with secrets. You know me, I sing like a canary.
I bought a cover for my water box tank.
Okay.
And I put it on for about 6 months, and then I took it off, and I haven't had it on for the whole time.
Not good. Not good. What fish have you got in there?
Well, this is my thinking.
Okay, what fish have you got in there? What fish do you no longer have in there?
What fish have I got left in there? First off, I have had one fish jump, which is probably inevitable, and that was a Springer's damsel. So I bought 3 Springer's damsels. I bought one to start with, and then I decided one's stupid, so I bought 2 more. And that meant that the 2 that I put in later were buddies, and the one on his own, they were never mates.
Yeah.
And I came back and found the one who was Billy No Mates had jumped out one day.
Yeah.
Apart from that, and I don't have those anymore. I took the other 2 back to the shop. The fish I have in that shop are a 1-spot foxface, a gold rush tang, tummy tang, and a pipefish. The little pipefish can't jump. So and a Bangor cardinal. Sorry.
you know what the most risky fish of those fish are to jump?
Bangor
They're not
cardinal?
none of them are high risk.
No, I think they're what I don't know.
The fox face is the most likely one.
Do you think? Okay.
Yeah, one of my customers, you go like his fox face knows him and it's fine. If I go near the tank, it freaks out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's I've not seen him for a while actually, but he I
They
know
are
he
quite
listens to the
timid.
live streams, so I'll probably get a message from him. But yeah, it's like it does the thing where where it like shoots up and it splashes water everywhere. So that one is.
So I've had a few fox faces, and none of them have ever done that. They come to the top and like bubble the water, which is fun.
I'm not saying it's. I'm not saying it's
No.
likely to happen. I'm just saying they're a bit more skittish than other fish.
Yeah.
So let's just say, of all the fish you don't want flying at you, the one that's got poisonous, venomous spines is the one you don't want to do that.
You'll be able to see on the cade I've got a net, and I've got 2 clownfish and a goby, and they are guaranteed to jump.
Yeah.
And on the tank downstairs, I've got covers on all my tanks. Just that one so far has been all right, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be okay and that those fish will be safe.
That's a low tank as well, isn't it? So the cover's probably even more noticeable.
Yeah, on a low tank. I love being able to look top down all the time and just you turn the flow off and it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's an again lids. When I first started, they weren't a thing. It just wasn't a thing really.
Well, they weren't. You didn't have rimless tanks then, I guess.
Yeah,
like braceless tanks.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny we got these braceless tanks now to then put a plastic brace that has no structural support around them anyway.
See, that's what I was going to say. I want in my next tank. I want a brace, a Euro brace.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And I got I mentioned last week there was a Waterbox custom. You can buy Waterbox custom tanks with Waterbox.
Yeah.
I got a quote from them. I put in you follow there's an online thing.
You just like to annoy people, don't you?
I know. I was just getting a quote. So
okay.
I put in exactly what I wanted. 6 foot wide, 2 foot 2 inches, 26 inches front to back, 2 foot tall. Oh no, 18 inches tall. Sorry. So it's slightly taller than their Waterbox frag.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about it another time because I've not decided if I'm going to go for it yet. Probably not. It was quite expensive. Not as expensive as I thought.
How much was it?
It was $5,500.
Actually, that is well. Joe would be interesting. You should put in the exact dimensions of one of their existing tanks.
Yeah.
If the price comes out the same.
It'll be a lot more, I guess. But that actually, I didn't think that was. I was expecting it to be more expensive. It's not that that's cheap, but it's an unusual tank. It's a big tank. It had mitered edges. Oh, they look so good.
Actually, yeah, my one doesn't have those. That's where they're like
that 45-degree angle. So
yeah, put together.
Yeah, they look really good.
You don't see that very. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen those.
I've seen Aquarium Connections do mitered edges. I've seen a couple of Aquarium Connections tanks with them, but they look cool. But anyway, and yeah, anyway, what was I going to say? So yeah, news. We're doing the news. So Aqua that you still haven't bought your ticket for yet, I bet. No, okay.
I told you, you got me one, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
I spoke to your missus. She says she's not coming. So
no, you didn't. But Aqua H. So last couple of weeks, we've talked about it and trying to get people to make sure they commit, go to and buy a ticket, all that sort of stuff. So I've done the pushing the hobbyist bit. But the one thing I've noticed is that the last couple of weeks, whenever we talk about it, people, the first thing they ask is how many coral vendors are going.
Yes. Where is this going?
A proper look. Oh, it's not going anywhere. Don't worry.
Okay.
I've had a proper look. So there's only one, as far as I can see, there's only one coral vendor. That's AAC. Biggest shop in the south, I reckon. So it's great to have AAC there. That's fantastic. A really good shop and a big shop. But that's the only place that's going. No one from the north. And there's a few biggish shops. Finest are quite big. There's a couple of others as well that I can't think of because I don't go up there. But there's no one else. Just one coral vendor.
So Finest are going or they're not going?
No, it's not that I can see. So the last couple of weeks I've called to hobbyists to make sure you go.
Yeah.
This week, vendors, if you're thinking, should we go or not, go please, because we want you there.
It's not actually that far away now, is it? If you think about it, when we first started talking about this was months ago. Whereas it's in April, isn't it?
Yeah, 14th something like that of April.
Yeah, so it really is not that far.
So I'd love to see some northern vendors, because that'd be an opportunity for me to see some of the northern shops. But anyone, just more vendors, more coral vendors would be fantastic. So please go, just for me.
I think because it's the first one, like the first main one,
Yeah.
there's obviously a huge cost attached for people. That's the problem. So
How much is a booth? Do you know?
I do know, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say. So
Okay.
I won't
Yeah,
say
fair.
because I don't want to annoy anyone. But I think obviously there's different. Imagine I was like, oh yeah, it's 50 quid for me, and they're like,
Yeah.
what? So
We paid 500.
so I don't know. I actually don't know. I think there is a different rates for different people, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
What I was going to say before, what was I saying? Okay, so there's a big cost attached if you want to sell coral. Obviously, you need to have tanks there, you need to have a stand, you need to have like banners and stuff like that. Now,
Yeah.
AAC have done this already, so they've got all the stuff, I assume, from the last one. Whereas if you said to me, "Go do it," as I said, I need all that stuff. So it's easier for me to go, well, I just won't do it, which is probably the same for other people.
Yeah, but I want you to go. So
I need.
it would just be.
I could probably no, don't even.
Oh, I wasn't going there, but
no, because I was about to go. Oh, I could probably like if I did this, I could go, but I'm not even going to say it because I'm not going. I'm not doing it. As I said, I want to go and enjoy myself as a hobbyist. But it's interesting because I'd be interested to talk to the person who's running it, and obviously we both know him. I'd be interested to see what sort of like, because he will be able to see all the analytics. He'll be able to see the people that are going, how many people have bought tickets, how many vendors are interested. Because if all of a sudden he went, actually, I'm not saying that will happen, but if he went, oh, that there's not really enough interest, I bet a load of people would buy tickets because all of a sudden people are going, well, it's like you need to do it now or you don't do it at all.
Yeah, maybe. I think a lot of people might think, oh, I won't bother then. But there needs to be, the thing is, it's kind of like a catch-22, because you need exciting vendors to go and a reason for people to buy tickets.
Yeah.
But at the same time, those vendors need to know that lots of people are going to go. So
yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know. I want there to be more vendors there.
Basically, if people are willing to get the tanks there for me, have a banner put up for me, I will supply the corals. We're all good.
But that's the other thing, is that a shop has got to lose 2 or 3 staff for a weekend.
Yeah.
But still, this is an opportunity, and this doesn't come around very often.
That's the problem. The problem is, it's like we've either got to see. I hate saying this because you're going to go, well, this is you should be doing this, Ryan. But people have been like moaning that we don't have this sort of stuff. In fact, Jay's just literally just written that. Like they go, oh, all that stuff in America. This could be the start of something. But
completely.
We have to go, we're in and we're doing it, because if we don't do that, it's not happening next year. And each year it will get better and better and better, because the first year there'll be teething issues and stuff like that. But if it's profitable, they'll do it again. And it's as simple as that. And the second time that happens, there'll probably be a lot more people interested. After everyone's going, oh, this is the first one. Let's just see how it goes. And then I'll go next time. There might not be a next time.
No, it's true. And I think actually, if I was invited to a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I was invited to like a discussion about a coral show that they were talking about setting up. And one of the things I said, they said, like, what do you think we need to do? And one of the things I said was, you need Prestige Reef and Signature Frags there. And neither Prestige Reef nor Signature Frags, I think, are going to this at the moment.
When was this?
Maybe Signature Frags is. I'll tell you later. But maybe Signature Frags is. That would be wicked. I'd love Signature Frags to be there. But I think Signature Frags would get a lot of people going. You would get a lot of people going. And I actually think Finest is the biggest in the north. I think they would get a lot of people. I'd be quite excited to see Finest. So I think I would like to see them. If you're watching Finest, do it.
For me, as I said, I'll be honest with you. For me, it's to some extent, it comes down to a confidence thing because I've never done it before, and that will be a big deal for me. I need to set again. I need to have some sort of electronic payment method because I don't have that. I can't be giving my bank details to people while standing at the stall, if you see what I mean.
Yeah,
So
I suppose. I mean, that's the electronic payment method. That's that would be useful to be at the farm anyway. So someone can tap.
yeah, true.
And you are
True.
going to take it more seriously this year. So,
And it's, as I said, and the other thing that for me as well, you know what I'm like. People don't know this, but I'm quite an anxious person. So if I commit to something in April, I won't sleep until April.
but you'd love it. You'd get there and you'd love it. You'd be in your element.
Yeah, I actually probably would. I'd be like, yeah, money. That's probably what I would love. But I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah, I will commit to buy. I will buy something from every single vendor who goes there.
What, every single vendor?
Coral vendor.
Including coral. Oh, coral vendor.
Coral vendor. And I'm not going to spend £5 on a piece of Monty.
Nice. Can I get that in writing? Because
if you go, yeah.
Oh, so okay. So I'm going to turn up with a tank that has one coral in it, and that coral is anything, and it says £10,000 price tag, and you guaranteed me you'll buy from every vendor,
except for dickheads like you.
Okay.
But I think most people will go there and they'll want to buy something. So I just want it to be awesome. It's going to be, but I want it to be next level awesome, and that needs more vendors. It needs us to buy tickets as hobbyists, but it needs vendors to stump up as well and go, we're doing it. Yeah. Take the punt and see what it is. They do it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Anyway, last piece of news was someone posted this on the Facebook page, and this was the Max Spec Lagoon series of aquariums, which I think I'd seen talk of before, but this is there's a lot more info out now.
Yeah.
There is some clever stuff in here. The one thing that put me off, I looked on it, and the biggest they go is 5 feet. And if I do upgrade, I'll want the 6 foot. And I was like, okay. But they do look nice, and they got some cool features. The one downside of this is the website. I found it a little bit tricky to work out. Like the Water Box and the Red Sea websites are brilliant for all the specs on size and all that. This I found it a little bit difficult, and loads of it is telling you what equipment you get with it. So you get the Max Spec lights, the Max Spec skimmer, the Max Spec power heads, and all that. I don't want that. I want to buy the tank, and then I want to buy all the equipment separately. But maybe
can you buy it separately, or you can't buy it?
You probably can. It's just it tells you all the detail about that. But anyway, there are some neat features in here that I did think were worth mentioning. So it's first off, it's got an app. Don't really care about the app. It's got this little built-in control panel with a few things. So it's got like child safety lock, for example. Now, I don't know what that means, but I presume it's something that locks. Maybe it just locks the buttons. Actually, I thought it was going to be like a door lock. Maybe it probably just locks these buttons.
Has it got contactless?
No,
everything needs contactless these days.
I know, but it's just a couple of things there that like gives you lights to show that your skimmers and all that sort of stuff. Actually, the more I look at that, the more I think actually it's not that impressive. But there were a couple of other things that were good. Where are they? So all this is what I mean. It takes you through all the equipment. I'm like, I don't care about the equipment. Show me the tank. Anyway, that looks quite smart, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're not that fussed.
It's just a tank to me.
Yeah, okay. Let me tell me some of the interesting stuff in that case, because there were useful things. So here, this bit, you can have the return outlets on the side or on the front, which is cool. And the gate valve for tuning the water level is right at the top, so you don't have to go into the sump and then come back up and then go back into the sump. That's quite cool. It's got aerospace grade aluminium cabinet, Ryan.
So that is actually the coolest part so far.
There you go.
And I know people go, well, why is that the cool part? Trust me, when you've had a non-aluminium stand, you know the difference.
I would really like an aluminium stand. So the Cade has got, even though it's only little, the Cade's got an aluminium stand.
Can we say aluminum as well for our American viewers?
Aluminum. No, I'm not going to say that because I'm British. The Cade has got an aluminium stand. It's rock solid, but bloody hell, it's heavy, and it's only a small tank, but it's really good. Ergonomically built PVC. So this is the same kind of sump as the Dream Box, basically. It's fancy, but as soon as I looked at that, I was like, I don't want the filter socks. I don't want my skimmer in there. I want to change this. I want to change that. But it looks neat.
What does ergonomically mean?
I don't know what max spec think it means.
I'm sorry, but when you're putting things like ergonomically as part of your advertising, you're like clutching at straws as far as I'm concerned.
It looks. I'll give them that. It looks nice. Although I actually wouldn't want that, but lots of people will because it looks smart with all the color match plumbing and all that. And the color match, if you buy all the max spec equipment, it'll all look the same, which some people are well into. There's got a little drawer. So at the top of the cabinet, it's got a drawer for all your plugs. This is all really neat with the little plug strips and all that.
Yeah.
I would just have it as my nest of power bricks.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's actually quite a cool feature.
Yeah. There were a couple of things that I wasn't so keen on, like the it's optional, but there's an auto top off that reservoir that sits on top of the tank. You don't have to have it, but I don't like Red Sea do that, and I don't like. It just gets in the way. It's just and they're small and they're awkward to fill up. You ever tried to fill up the reservoir on a Red Sea?
Oh no, it lasted like literally a day when I had one.
A day and a half, and trying to
get it lasted for a day. I took it out.
Yeah.
I see. I'm not having this.
Same here, but yeah, it's an interesting range. It didn't say anything about prices. The sizes were 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot. But again, it's like I found it really difficult. There are specs on there for tank size and stuff. But here you go. So you click on the tank spec and it tells you what size light they have and what size, how much energy the circulation uses. I'm like, tell me how big the bloody cabinet is, how tall it is. And so this is, I don't know.
I only want to know how ergonomic it is.
Here we go.
That's all I want to know.
No, it's not. Where are the sizes? It must be there somewhere. Here we go at last. Right. So the 5 foot one, which is the best one, of course, 55 centimeters wide, front to back, 55 centimeters tall. Some people like that because it's a good size, and I like the 55 centimeter height, but I really like 2 foot front to back.
The 2 foot is $2,500.
Is it?
That's what John just said. Is that true?
I don't know. I couldn't find prices, but that's a lot of money for a 2 foot tank.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cade was 1,300 quid for a 50 centimeters, just under 2 foot, and I thought that was expensive, but $2,500.
Well,
fair enough. Anyway, that concludes the news. And that means that I need to now bring up the random name.
I've got all these people messaging me going, I'll help you set up.
Oh, really?
And someone, Charles Bettany, said, I'll provide banners. He'll be there. He can provide the electronic system.
Do it. I'd love you to be there.
You remember how I said to you, I'm the sort of person where I don't want to do something, and then on the day, I enjoy it. So what needs to happen is you need to invite me to stuff the day before.
But you can't do that. You were the one who was saying.
I know I can't do that here. But I can just imagine turning up and you'll have arranged a booth for me.
No, that's not. I'm not your personal secretary. I don't like this.
So basically, if I don't have it, Alex is the reason because he couldn't be bothered to set me a booth up.
I'm sorry, guys. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
All right, so we do need to do the competition winner for the refractometer. So we can do that now. And I've put all the names in.
Give into peer pressure.
Yeah, do give into peer pressure. I've put all the names in here, and I'm going to click to generate a winner. So there we go. Oh, it's making a noise, which I don't think you guys can hear. It's like
I can hear you.
Noise.
We can't hear the noise of the thing, but I can still hear you.
Is it Jay Mason? Jay Mason.
There you go.
Congratulations, Joe. You have won yourself a Reef Casa refractometer. So if you can send me an email at thereefdork@hotmail.com, we'll sort out address and all that sort of stuff, and I'll post it to you. The only thing I'll say is, so have you seen there's a fraud scam type thing on YouTube that with some YouTubers, there tend to be like north of 100,000 subscribers, where someone they'll steal your photo, your avatar, and they'll create a name. It'll be like Prestige Reefs or something, Prestige's Reef or something, and then they post and say they post in replies to comments and say, you've won a prize, please contact me and I'll give you the prize. And then you contact them and they persuade you to send them money and that sort of stuff.
Have you not been getting my money?
No.
I keep sending it to Reef Dorks.
Yeah, but it's so I've not been no one's tried that on my channel, but I will never ask you for money ever. So don't ever send anyone money who's pretending to be me, even if it's for like this. I'll pay for the postage. I won't ask you money for postage on anything like that. I will never ask you to pay me any money. So don't ever do it.
If ever I ask you to pay for money, just double check it is me, because I probably will ask you.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss, Prestige Reef?
Nope. I'm all good.
Cool. Well, in which case, thank you all for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.